is my baby.
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Bondi.
And I'm Dana Denha, and this is Adventures in Parenthood. Throughout this series, we will explore the world of raising kids from newborn through adulthood.
We all have stories of where we come from and why our hair is dark or why our eyes are green or even why we like the foods that we like. Our family history plays a big role in who we are, and the more we learn about it, the more we can learn about ourselves. And that's something that Dana and I are going to discuss today a little bit with our guests, and as far as our backgrounds too, and a little bit about growing up with our nationalities and what we might do differently with our girls. So tell us, what about your background, Dana?
So my dad's from Baghdad, Iraq. He came here when he was about 14 years old. And then my mom is second generation Belgian. So it's a strange combo, and people never know where I'm from. Right. So like that's the thing that's a constant. I feel like I always get like people think I'm from Mexico or they think I'm Italian. Those are like the two big things I get a lot for my nationality.
Sure.
But growing up, it is weird sort of being a half-breed when you are Chaldean, because a lot of Chaldeans are 100% and they all speak the language and they have like this camaraderie together. So growing up, I definitely felt like our family was the outsiders. We couldn't speak the language. We would hang out with them sometimes, but it wasn't, I never felt like 100% comfortable in my skin around my dad's side of the family. But then I will say, as I've gotten older, it's so different, and it's like the language barrier is nothing. Like I have an aunt that says she cannot speak English, but I never knew she couldn't speak English because I've always been able to communicate with her in some way. So I think she can speak a little bit of English, and I think she was hiding it from everyone else, and she would speak it to like me because but it was also sort of like, you know, using hand gestures and just knowing. The same with like my grandma who's from Belgium. I don't know the language, but she would speak like mix between Flemish and English a lot. So I would know what she was talking about because it was a mix between the two languages. So like those sort of things are really interesting to me.
Sure.
Where like now having a kid, Keaton is never going to have that sort of thing. We just speak English at home. We don't, you know, like she doesn't even really hear my dad speaking Chaldean when she sees him. So
okay. I can remember when I was a kid having to go, so I'm half Greek, is 100%, and so we grew up Orthodox Greek, and as time has gone on, and once we hit maybe high school, after somewhere around there, even before, I didn't want to go anymore. I didn't want to do that. It's kind of one of those, if your parents forced you while you were young, you look back now and think, oh, I'm glad they did. Yeah. And now I wasn't really forced after a certain age, and now I have regret. I regret that I'm not bilingual and that I'm so close to, everyone knows Greek, and Greek known for the Greek food and the country and
everyone's so friendly.
Right, a family, and it's so. And I wish I was merged in it more, and I'm not. And it's unfortunate for me looking back as an adult, and I can make that choice whether or not I want to do that. For my daughter growing up, she was baptized Greek, so it's just a choice that I have to make on her behalf now, whether or not. But I definitely feel language barriers, and I feel out of the loop, and I feel like I'm kind of the black sheep too. Yeah, when I'm with that side, talking about that part of the family.
Sure, yeah. I mean, now though, like I said, it feels different. I appreciate the things that I did get from that, like my love for different cuisines and like being open to eating a lot of different foods.
Sure. Because
that's what we grew up doing. Like it was like, that's dinner. You're eating what's for dinner tonight. So
do people assume or ask you what you can cook that's Mediterranean or Middle Eastern or?
No, but I do know how to. But I do know how to because I had and the funniest thing is my mom taught me, who is not Arab at all.
Oh, so she's the one that taught you.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
So local author, teacher, and yoga instructor Anita Adhikary is passionate about her homeland of Nepal. So much so that she is teaching the world about this small country and their local customs through the written word. Welcome to the show, Anita.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So basically what we were sort of talking about, you're doing that for people that live in Nepal coming here and vice versa. I think more so you're teaching people that live in the United States about Nepal, though.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
First of all, namaskar.
Mm-hmm.
And this means that I'm greeting you from deep within my soul, and that you and I are one for now. It's all about mindfulness.
Sure.
So yes, this is such a great opportunity that you've invited me and given me, and what a perfect, you know, topic for me to come in, because it's Adventures in Parenthood, and I've been an early childhood educator all of my life. And just like you come from Greece and you have Iraqi,
Yeah.
I come from Nepal. I've always lived in Nepal all of my life. I came here when I was 21 and moved to Ann Arbor in 1993 together with my husband and my 2 daughters. And yes, Nepal is a teeny tiny Himalayan country tucked away in the Himalayas, you know, on the other side of the globe. And not many people know about this country, especially in the USA. And I think the reason is because America is such a big country. I like to say it's a continent on its own. And therefore, when you look at the world news, you really don't see a whole lot of news from around the world. It's mostly from America. So when people come to know that I come from Nepal, they say, "Oh, do you come from India?" And I tell them, it's because I look Indian too. And I tell them, "No, I don't. I'm not Indian. Nepal has never been part of India." And then they go, "Naples, Italy." And so this is kind of, you know, it's a little sad, I would say, because Naples is in Italy and Nepal is in Asia. And then I tell them, "No, but you know what? I come from the land of Mount Everest." So I ask them if they know about Everest, and everybody does, right?
I think a lot of things that they don't know that Everest is in Nepal.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And also because it's a small rectangular country sandwiched between Tibet, China, and then India. And our customs are very alike to Indian as well. You were talking about food earlier. So yes, this is why I guess I wanted to venture into writing my books. I loved the title, M is for Michigan. You know, I saw that book long time back, and I'm like, what a cool title for a book. If I were to ever publish a book, I'd really like to make it N is for Nepal. And so this is how I ventured writing my first children's book.
So this is the book, and it's for Nepal.
Yes.
So this is, but this was, what, did you write this one first?
We did.
The tourist book
Yes,
first?
yes, yes. Do you want me to say something about that?
Well, that was just, that's what, kind of what started your writing career, right?
Right, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so just
yes.
a little brief, like what that's, so you were teaching people from Nepal the customs of America.
Well, yes and no. So we live in the Midwest, and in the Midwest we have an association called Association of Nepali in the Midwest. Because back in the days, 40, 50 years back, when Nepali started migrating or coming to Michigan or other parts of the Midwest, there were hardly any Nepali people. And so some of these forefathers decided to make it into one, into an organization where everyone could, you know, it was more like a support group where they would see a similar looking face and they could share whatever. So when we came to Ann Arbor, I became quite active in this organization. And I had a very different upbringing. So back about 25 years back, there were no smartphones, no television, no computers, no internet.
I remember that time.
And so, exactly, and so Nepal and US were totally two different worlds, you know. Now with the smartphone and social media and internet, I say that it's one beautiful world we are living. It's a small planet Earth.
You learn more about everything going on around
exactly.
you. Yeah.
This is why we wanted to make it an easy transition for tourists coming in, because you know, you land up in the airport and it is so different. We didn't even have escalators before. And so a tourist comes into, say, Detroit, they don't know how to pull a cart. You know, you need to put your stuff in. So what do? You need to put money in. And then they may want to make a phone call. Again, they don't know how. And so these are some very basic tips that we wanted to make it easy for them to understand, easy for them to acclimatize with this culture. So it's more like a community giving back to the community kind of a book. So it's I co-authored it together with a good friend of ours, Dr. Sharma, and it has done really well, especially in the Bhutani Nepali resettlement group. This is free for all. We don't charge a dime. Anyone can upload
And
it.
they're still using it today.
And they're still
Yeah.
using it. We got a grant about 7 years back where we made it into a flip book. So it's half is in Nepali, half is in English. So for people who don't know English, they can easily read it. But I think this book has done its time, it's done its work.
Yeah, so
And
that sort of parlayed into your
Yes.
first children's book, and it's for Nepal.
That's correct. Yes.
What about this book really, like, what's the one thing that people are surprised that they learn about Nepal when they're reading this book?
Can I
Yes.
share that, please? Yeah. So yes, again, going back to the same question, oh, you come from Nepal. The people that are really surprised is looking at this because this is the only flag in the world that has 2 triangles.
Right.
Do you know why? Or you could take a guess.
I know from the book.
Okay. So when I show it the other day, I was invited to read at a Montessori school, Christian Montessori. I was reading and I just showed this to the kids and I said, what do you think it represents? One boy said, the mountains. And that's basically what it
Yeah.
is. So among 10 of the world's highest mountains, Nepal boasts of 8 of the world's highest mountains. And so it's a very simple book that I've written. Starts with just and ba with some text to it. So it's not only for little children, it's for anyone. And what children are most impressed is that Nepali people are very friendly people. We respect anything under the sun. So we have special days to honor certain animals because they too are part of us. And so when I tell my kids about there's a special day for a dog, they go, you must be kidding me. So this is what they're really fascinated about. And also, Kathmandu is the capital. So Kathmandu has lots of temples.
Okay.
And Kathmandu got its name from this temple was built out of the logs of one tree. So Kath means wood and Mandap is temple. So that's how Kathmandu got its name. Also, Buddha was born in Nepal. So there are lots from this little book that I can share it with the world. And this has already gone on its 3rd publication. We are sold out. So Mascot Books, Amazon, certain libraries, and I, together, we sold about 3,000 copies. And this is the last one that I have. And so I'm really thrilled that it's gone all over. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'll quickly share something. So I've been a preschool teacher teaching in Ann Arbor for a long time. This little girl that was in my care when she was, I think, 16, 17, she had an opportunity to go explore the world through Peace Corps. So she could have gone anywhere to Africa or Nepal. She chose Nepal. Why? Because the teacher comes from Nepal.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
that's really cool, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's go, because there's another book that's really sort of dedicated to Nepal that you wrote too, and I don't even want to try to say the name of this because I know I'm going to butcher it, so I'll allow you to say it.
And that's called Dasai Ayo and Tihar Ayo. This is a Nepali festival celebration, and the reason why I ventured in writing this book is, again, for a teacher, for a grandma, and you know, for a person who really likes books and encourages children to read books. It's so crucial for children to be able to hold a book. Say it's Kwanzaa, it's Christmas, it's Hanukkah, it's whatever holidays. You go into a library, you go to a bookstore, you see shelves littered with hundreds of books, but they're not a single book from Nepal. Yes, we do celebrate something similar to India called Diwali. We call it Deepavali. And I thought I really need to write something for the Nepali diaspora living outside of Nepal. So this book is all in English. The illustrator Teresa Stites has done a fantastic work on this book. So it's in a poetic form, and it goes like this. So Dasai is a special holiday with an abundance of good fortune to give away. It's a time for joy and celebration, cooking, cleaning before relaxation. So this is the most well-loved holiday with, from children of Nepal. And it's basically a time where schools are closed for 15 days. It's the biggest national holiday. It's a time where families come together, just like Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Sure.
And, you just end up cleaning the house, preparing lots of different cuisine, and families playing cards, eating all kind of fruits that comes from the season, going outdoors to fly kites.
It sounds so beautiful.
So it's a lovely, lovely holiday. And the other one is celebrating Brothers' Day, which is a big thing. And so we again worship animals. So there's a special day for the cows. Why cow? Because cow is a sacred animal. We drink milk from a cow, and back in those days they could use the cow dung to use it as fodder. And so there are lots that people can do with these different animals. So this is a chapter book, and I'm really happy that I was able to publish this as well. So thank you so much again.
Is that one still available too?
It is. It is. So we were a little too adventurous, the CEO of Mascot Books, my publishing company, and I, because his root is also Nepali, believe it or not. And so we went ahead and printed 2,000 of these. Well, I have sold about 800 by myself, and Mascot Books, together with Amazon and other resources that goes to the library, they've sold about maybe 300. So 1,300, about 1,200 thus far.
So there's still some left.
Yes,
on the
there's lots left.
And you can go Amazon, and you said it's Mascot.
Mascot Books.
Yep.
And also, I'm really happy to say that Ann Arbor Public Library and so many libraries do have all of my books.
Oh, that's amazing!
The only difficult task for a self-published author is that I have to try to market it myself.
Right.
So just like you have Adventures in Parenthood for little children, I have a Facebook page called Anita's Alphabet Adventure, where I post all of my readings that I do in different schools on this website.
Is your book electronic too, on tablets?
No,
or is this a hard
and I'll tell you why. People have asked me this numerous times, is your book in Kindle?
Yeah.
And I choose not to do it because I'm an early childhood educator. I so strongly believe that children need to touch and feel and rip a page and hold it and read it. The reason why I published Why is for Yoga is just so that I want our little children to stay away from phones and iPads. I want them to be able to go outdoors, explore the world, stay home with their parents, play with puzzles and blocks. And I think I could do well too, but you know what? To me, I'm passionate about kids, and so I strongly believe that we really need to let kids touch and feel books. And why am I so passionate about reading to children is because it is such a strong component in anyone's life, especially little ones, when parents are reading to them every night. There is so much that goes on. Parents can bond, you can have quality time. Kids feel really happy that parents are giving them this time. And lo and behold, there's so much knowledge. You have the world in your hand with these books. You can embrace diversity, and you can talk about, you can develop comprehension skills for a 3-year-old by asking your daughter, so did you like this book? At first she may just not say anything, and then you need to be, it's a good routine to have, keep on asking the same thing every day. So tell me something about this book. Did you like it? Why? Why not? And so you're developing comprehension skills, which is crucial for later on too, right?
All right. Well, I'm going to stop you right there. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more from Anita. We're back with Anita Adhikary, and she's here. She actually is a yoga instructor. We've mentioned that earlier. She wrote a book, Y is for Yoga, and you use this to teach youngsters starting at 10 months to 6 years old.
Yes.
Yoga.
Yes.
So why don't you show us a couple of the yoga poses, and they can also find these in the book too.
Yes, there are 14 different poses in there.
And these are the ones you use for your preschoolers.
Yes, I do, because the pictures, the illustrations really speak to these child. So there's one called F is for frog pose, lotus pose, cobra pose, downward facing dog, and tree. Because for some children they are visual, they need to see.
Yeah.
So I use these as my tool.
So are the young kids, like young, like 1-year-olds doing these poses
Yes.
with you? That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
They're enjoying it so much
Awesome.
that they're barely able to speak. And when they see me, they come running saying, Olga.
That's the
And there's
cutest
so
thing
many
ever.
nice testimonials that I'd like to share if there's time.
Okay.
And I
Great,
also use
yeah.
lots of different tools. So one day, this was so many years back, I was reading my book in Baltimore, and most of the principals in any school that I go read, they help me have a book signing event. So there was this boy called Jack, who's 3. His mom bought my book. And at night when she was reading to him, she said, what do you think about the book? And suddenly Jack said, oh, I love Anita. So mom was very surprised. She said, but you don't know her. And he goes, well, because she did yoga and she's so happy. She makes me happy.
Aw.
You know?
Yeah.
And then the other day, this happened just last month, a 4-year-old said to me, I love your book, Anita, Y is for Yoga. And I'm going to ask my mom and dad to buy this book. So I said to her, well, it's available at the library. It's also available at the school. You can take it. And then she said, well, guess what? I'm going to say Y is for Yoga all day long. Y is for Yoga. And then I'll be able to share it with my parents. And mind you, it was only 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's really wonderful. And
Anita, you're going to show us some poses from the book today.
Yeah,
I
why don't
would
you
love
give
to.
us
Yeah,
a,
what are you
a
gonna- what's
quick
first?
I would
couple
love
demo.
to. So
Yeah.
there are lots of different poses as Dana is showing. So I'd like to talk about the most important one for all of us. And I come in with different props. So this is for kids, sun. So let's all salute to the sun. Let's say thank you, sun, for giving us heat and light. Because without the sun, we wouldn't be living. The world would be completely dark. Take a deep breath from your nose, your nostrils, and come on down. Try to keep your legs straight. Come and touch your knees. If you can, come and touch your toes all the way down. You exhale and you come up. And you do the same again.
And this is
This is sun
the
salutation.
sun.
And
So
then
there
you
are
were gonna
several.
show us one more, maybe?
Yes, I'd like to show the cobra pose.
Cobra?
Yeah.
Because kids can really relate to snakes and lizards and all of that. And so so all of us go down on the floor. Keep your forehead on the floor, your stomach on the floor again. Keep your hands on your side. Take a deep breath again through your nostrils, your noses. Lift your forehead, your nose, your chin. Come on up. Come up all the way. And let's go down again. Exhale. Inhale. Come on up. Well, snakes stick their tongues out. They make a hissing sound.
They do.
So let's go down again. And after this, we try to do 3 poses from each. I like to do a lot of fun stuff with the kids. So I tell them, lift your legs, hold it, and let's all pretend to wear our life jackets. It's a beautiful sunny day. Let's go sailing. Row, row, row your boat. So this is what we do.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I can totally
Lots
see
of-
why the kids would want to do it then and be
Yeah.
interactive with it and
It's-
talk about it because it feels like a game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Great stretching. Oh,
I
my
also
gosh.
have this tool, which I use it all the time for meditation, because how can I teach meditation to a 2 or 3-year-old? And so we all sit with our legs crossed in a pretzel pose, And I ask children if they can even sit this way. Some of them can. And so I just tell them, okay, let's all make silence. We do not talk. We just focus on breathing through our noses and just watch my hands. And believe it or not, these kids do it so well. So this is what we do.
And they're just mesmerized, right?
They're just mesmerized. There's no talking, and they're only deep breathing. So these are different tools that I use, and I think it's because of these and also some other exercises that I do, tools. Children just love yoga.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that I can instill peace and let them become happy individuals from the time they're very young, because we need it. Everybody needs to be happy from deep within ourselves.
So real quick, we have to wrap up. We're almost out of time, but I just want to say real quick, this book, I think Dana and I both looked at, read it, and we both can appreciate this absolutely from the heart, because we both have daughters as well. So it's just inspiring and beautiful to see.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I wrote this book simply because in so many cultures, sons are prized possession and not daughters. And the irony is, daughters are the pillars of community.
Right.
If a daughter is well educated, she becomes a good mom, a good teacher, and then that house becomes a happy home. Oftentimes when I read this book in schools, there are boys in 2nd, 3rd grade who say they're not really happy seeing the title. So I walk in and I say, am I a teacher? Am I a daughter? Is your teacher a daughter? Is your mom a daughter? They say no. And then I tell them, you know, if we are educated well, then we become better people. This is why. I'm really happy to share that this book, My Daughters Are Smart, as well as Why Is for Yoga, is also available at the United Nations Bookshop in New York City.
Okay.
And before we go, because this is your new release. This
Yes.
just got released last week, I believe,
Yes,
Nepali
yes,
Tales.
yes.
And I haven't had a chance to read this one, but I'm looking forward to reading it, because you said it's got a lot of really fun stories
Yes.
about things like Nepali stories that
Yes.
you know when you're from there, but you
Yes.
would not if you were not from there.
So this book here, the Nepali Tales, I ventured into a chapter book because story reading is a very good, is a big culture in the Western world. In Nepal, it's more storytelling by our grandparents, especially folk tales with good morals. And so there are a couple of stories that I really loved. Now that I'm a grandma and a teacher, I have shared this story with hundreds of kids, and they have loved it so much that I decided to make it
We
into
actually are out of time.
Okay.
So you can get that book on Amazon.
online, yes.
Yep, you can get that book
yes.
online, Nepali
Yes,
Tales. It's
yes.
brand new,
Yes,
and
it is.
sounds very good.
So it has 3 stories: the booming gas,
so
bodily
cool.
gases,
Yeah.
the ginormous
Kids love that
moolah, and then the
Right.
turnip and the gliding balloon.
Okay.
So
Okay,
thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank
Namaskar.
you so much. Namaskar. Again.
Thank you.
If you have an idea for a parenting show topic or guest, talk to us on Twitter and Facebook at #CTN Ann Arbor.
Or for more on programming and services here at CTN, you can visit us at a2gov.org/CTN. And visit YouTube to watch all of our programs and more here at CTN. And you can like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us on our adventure today in parenthood.